Yes, indeedy. Hi, welcome. I am my brother's Ryan's brother Dan, and this is the way the leaf. This is the Leafcast, where it is a first time reader show where we talk about the epic fantasy tale written by Robert Jordan. The Wheel of Time. We are on book 10, talking about Crossroads of Twilight. Ryan should be here, hopefully anytime now. But in the meantime, I am holding down the fort, as it says. I'm manning every cannon. I'm raising the flag at night or in the morning, and I'm taking it down at night. I'm doing bugle calls. I'm doing everything a fort does, guys. I'm digging moats. I'm in trenches. I'm probably cutting down trees. This is what I do, holding down a fort. Anyways, hi. I hope you are well. Happy Tuesday. Happy Mother's Day to everyone who celebrated it. Mothers are rad. They're the best. So we are here for a first-time reader show, and it's not me that you want to see. It is our first-time readers. So I am going to find our first-time reader bumper thing, and then this isn't it. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. I'll find it. It's that's not it. No, we have so much stuff. That's not it. All right, let me all right. All right. All right, here we go. Let's wait, they're reading. All right, finish up. All right. And they lived happily ever after. And the evil witch ate them. Hi! Hi, everyone.
What's up? What's up?
Hey, Dan.
Josh, were you reading actually some like Dostoevsky there or some tome? What is that, leatherbound?
Maybe.
All right, I do hear an echo. Let me see if.
Am I echoing?
It might be. Let me see if I can fix it though, real fast.
Okay, I'm on my iPad, so there's limited like adjustments.
Yeah.
I can make, but...
Hey, String.
What's up?
Okay. I'm not sure, but we'll just deal with this little echo if that's what we need to do. That's what we'll do, guys.
Where's it coming from?
Anything I can do.
I'm not sure.
It's not
my
coming
echo
from Terry.
cancellation.
Is it coming from Carissa? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, that's okay.
Carissa, where's the sound coming out of your headphones?
Yeah. Is that why?
Maybe turn them down. Is it very loud?
How's that?
Better?
That's way better. Yeah,
it's better.
Awesome.
Better?
Awesome. Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
Guys, this is how we do it. This is how we do it. Hi, Carrie.
Hi,
How are you?
Dan. I am great. I can't believe it's Tuesday already.
I know, right? Your shirt is fabulous.
Yes.
Look at you rocking it.
Reppin'.
Rocking it.
You guys all look great, except for you, Josh. Your lighting is dookie. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'm in a different place than usual today.
No, you look fine.
You're lighting.
I'm glad you guys are here, and I'm glad we meet up. So we are talking about Robert Jordan's Crossroads of Twilight. It is book 10 of the series, and we are doing chapters 3 through 5 today. How's that sound? Does it sound good?
Yeah.
Sounds great.
I get. Is there anything that you guys? Do you guys have a good Mother's Day? Is there anything you want to talk about before we jump into it? Anything about your lives? Anything exciting, fun? Josh is just boned out. He's like, yeah, I don't want to hear about it.
Right?
What a dark friend.
Timing.
What a dark friend.
Excellent
Anything? Carrie, Kay? Anything you need, Shay?
I don't really have anything. Just happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, because I know we have a lot of them in this community, and they're all. Oh God, we have such a cool community of mothers. Actually, some like really incredible people. So
Mhm.
yeah, just happy Mother's Day to everybody and all your
Nice.
mothers.
Word to your mom.
Word
Word
Is
to
that
your
what you're
mom.
saying?
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Word to your mom. I like that. All right. Let's just jump in, and hopefully Ryan, when he is free, will be able to join us because I miss him already.
Yes, he should be able to. He's being dad of the year again,
Dad of
so
the year.
he's rocking it. Yeah.
Dad of the year. So we're in chapter 3. It's a direct continuation from chapter 2, where Matt got the dice rolling in his head. And this is, kind of the important thing, I guess, getting into it. It's called A Fan of Colors. It has the Adam bracelet and necklace as its icon. And it is Matt talking. He had just kind of counteracted Igannon's thing. And she's like, hey, listen, bro. Buddy.
Listen, brah.
She says, quote, I won't have our journey wrecked by your countermanding my orders. He's all, man, I'm you didn't hire me. I'm my own man. I'll do what I want. Bail Doman is so let's talk, I guess, a tiny bit about Bail Doman, if we can. Bail, where do you see Bail Doman on the scale of like good for Matt, bad versus Matt? What are your feelings about him and Egianin as opposed to like Matt's, I guess, goal here?
Sorry, close up of my hand. You're welcome. Sorry. Yeah, Bail Doman and Igyanin.
Yeah, Dale Doman like kind of gives a little advice. He's like, you will show her fitting respect, kind of thing. He's like, what are you playing at with that wild talk of her being your wife? I don't know. He's just we knew him as like this kind of rugged boating separatist dude, and now he is like this property of Iggy. I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts about them at all?
Well, his loyalty is torn between Egianin and Matt, He's kind of like stuck in the middle between both of them.
Do you think he's in the middle, or is he more in Egianin?
Okay, right? I'd say he's probably like 70% Matt and 30% Egianin. I don't know.
Oh wow! Oh, okay. You think he's more on Matt's side than Egianin?
Because he knew Matt before he met her.
Mm-hmm. He cut his hair to look like a Shanshin. He is. Yeah, what do you think, Kay? Do you have thoughts about Bail Doman and Egianin at all? And you are muted.
Oops. Not really.
Okay.
I don't remember thinking anything specific. I don't really.
Okay.
Maybe if Josh says something, it'll remind me of something that happened and provoke something, but I don't remember enough about that specific
And
part.
that's a fair response too. It's no big deal.
Well, it's this what I actually learned just really quickly about like these chapters and like this whole beginning of this book really is that I felt really like, oh my gosh, what is wrong with me? Like I know the ADHD is strong in this one, but like it just was so hard to focus and retain the information. But actually, as I was like looking through a couple of like just reviews, not the entire book, because obviously I'm not going to spoil anything for me, but like if I try to like listen to the beginning, just kind of what the person thought, a lot of them are just like, ugh, at the very beginning, and they're like, I couldn't even pay attention, and so I felt kind of like, well, at least I'm not the only one that kind of felt that way about these books, or this book, sorry, just the beginning, and I love it. I love Like, I'm excited to move on. I love that there's Matt chapters, but the prologue was rough, so my brain's been scrambled.
No, I hear you.
The prologue was rough, yeah. I think Bale Doman is squarely on the Gannon side. I guess I have to disagree with Carrie about this. I think it's interesting that we get this callback in this chapter to remembering Tom and what's his fuck, the thief catcher, Julian, on the boat. And I think that Eggy Annan has basically relinquished her ownership of him. So even though, yes, he is owned by her, that's not the way it works out behind closed doors. Even in the Sanshin time, I think. And I think he did introduce Matt and Eggy Annan together. So had some role in her escaping, but that was kind of in his best interest to do that, so that because Eggy Annan was like under watch by the Watchers, the folks with the little tower thing with the bird on it. What are they called? The Shanshin spies. Hey, Reese.
Yeah.
No.
The Seekers. There we go, Carrie. Yes, exactly. And as a collector of oddities, he was already kind of connected to the story in a way, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point, because he did collect. He had some information that the Aes Sedai didn't even have.
That's right. And more importantly, he has been pulled along again and again by the Tavernness of our lead characters, particularly Matt. But he's definitely been tugged along in the story, and is responsible for like their safe transit in multiple occasions, and like now this escape, and stuff with the Shanshan the first time. So
in these chapters, Tavernness does come up quite a bit,
bunch.
actually.
It does, yeah. Agreed.
So it's not a bad assumption to think that Bale Doman is a part of it, even if Matt doesn't acknowledge it in his point of view, right?
Right.
Sorry,
Debbie.
I love her. She's hilarious.
Josh.
You look great, Josh. Don't believe what
Ugh.
I do have perhaps a drinking obligation. Hold on. So, quote, harder in some ways.
Harder in some ways. Yes, okay. I'll give it to you. I just was realizing I forgot my drink. I don't have anything near me. So. Cheers.
Well, maybe Ryan, before he gets on screen, can bring you a beverage.
You would.
It's a great idea.
I will see.
Here's another one. Let me. So Matt notices a quote: willowy, hot-eyed seamstress named Jameen. Willowy, hot-eyed seamstress. What? Willowy, hot-eyed?
I don't know.
Carrie, are you picturing someone when he says willowy, hot-eyed? I'm picturing like Jasmine from Aladdin or something. I don't know what to picture. All right,
I don't know where you're going with
It's a mystery.
Bale Doman reminds Matt that Tuon was calm AF when she was kidnapped. She did not put up a fight. She was just more or less just kind of scoping things rather than trying to stop them, which causes some sort of pause in them. They're like, wait. Bale's like, man, she was cool as a cucumber. What the hell's that? And Matt's like, yeah. What the hell is that? Which they interpret to be at least some sort of danger. from her. Here's another one. I think this is my favorite one in the chapter. Quote, "The shaft of the purple wagon."
Nice. There
Does that
was
work?
also like a parking the wagon one in there somewhere. I
Parking the
can't
wagon.
find, but it was somewhere like I need to find a better place to park this large wagon, something like that. Anyways,
Correct, Kelly. Kate, Carrie, and Josh are first-time readers, so please keep your comments spoiler-free
hi,
to where we're
Callie.
at. It's it's the shaft of the purple wagon, Elfwitch. It's right, the shaft of the purple wagon. It was a baby shaft.
We don't know what color the rest of it
We
is.
don't
Could
know.
be
Yeah,
blue.
we don't know. We don't know. So Matt hears that Jolene wants to talk to him.
Jolene.
Jolene. And Tuan's all, who the fuck is that? And he's like, it's an Aes Sedai. Don't worry about it. Tuan's like, what? Actually, we didn't get to Tuan yet, did we? Sorry.
You're skipping ahead.
They get to Tuan. They go to Tuan. He's like, all right, fine. I need to talk to Tuan again.
So
like, don't call her that. Go ahead.
There is this important bit about Tuan being tougher than old boots, or tougher than Matt gives her credit for. Which Doman is very much aware of, and like we see it in their interaction. I feel like in the way that she doesn't defer to Matt, keeps calling him toy, and is very much like in control despite being the prisoner. I mean, clearly
to know something that he doesn't too. Right?
So do you think that Kay and Carrie, do you think Kay and Kay, do you think that she saw omens that led her to accept this fate and to play along with being abducted, and that's why she didn't scramble or scream during the escape, and why she is going along with it the way that she is?
Great question.
That's a good question.
Wow, you're already digging in deep in my brain already. I'm going to take a different approach on this. I think that there was later in, jumping ahead to chapter 4, there was a whole segment about the guy that is kind of like her, I don't know what you call it, not really bodyguard, but like
the woman who's her bodyguard.
Tuan's, the guy with the doll. I don't remember the Death Watcher person.
Oh, the guy who we meet, who's like being interviewed by the Seeker.
Yeah, so he mentioned in chapter 4 that she has been known to falsify her escapes and abductions.
Right.
So I'm leaning more towards maybe she didn't fully falsify this, but maybe she's using it as an opportunity to get out of the city, try to play along with it.
Right, and I guess that's where I'm coming from too. Is like, did she see an omen that led her to do that? Like, she doesn't seem to me to be the type of person to do things without it being connected to an omen or to like the story of her return. And if so, is she really playing along for the sake of the Empire, or does she have her own motivations? I don't know the answer to that, but I'm curious about
it. And how much is Tabarin?
Right.
Which is always the wild card, the joker in the deck, right?
Yeah.
But he did say, this is my wife, before he kidnapped her. Kind of weirdness.
And she gave him like a certain look when he did too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
and he speaks about, he's like, yeah, this feels like, he's like, a quote, the truth of it was he was going to marry Tuan. The thought made him sigh. He knew it as sure as prophecy, which it was in a way.
Right.
He says, he goes on to say, he cannot imagine how such a marriage could come about. It seemed impossible on the face of it, and he would not weep if that proved to not be so, but he knew it would not. So I guess, but we have this woman when they interact who does not treat him as an equal. She calls him toy. She had tried to purchase him maybe a month ago.
Right, but is she just fucking with him? Or is that really where she's coming from? I don't know the answer.
Yeah, she is a young girl. We learned that she is 14 by her new name day, but she is 20. She is of legal age, guys.
Yep.
She can't drink, but she can still date an adult. So no trouble there. Although his quote, she looked like a doll made of black porcelain. And he wonders how tough could she be, but also remembers that she would have stabbed him while they were wrestling if he wasn't so awesome.
Right.
Pretty much. So in the wagon where they're at is Mistress Anon, Solucia, the woman with the impressive bosoms, guys.
Bosom.
Guys, we cannot mention Solucia
Without the
without
bosom.
commenting on her super impressive bosoms that most people wouldn't even recognize her face because of those bosoms.
Yep, and people are constantly looking at them.
Quote, few men who glimpsed Solucia's impressive bosom would be able to focus long on her face. Matt might have enjoyed the view for a moment or two himself, but there was two on just staring at her. And he's like, his wife to be like, he's like, damn it, I can't look at the bosoms. What a bosom block.
Bosom blocker.
She is issues with the backstory. The backstory is that these three women are two women are in this wagon because they were servants who tried to fuck around, tried to fuck off. I don't know. They tried to be bad servants. Yeah, bad servants. Bad. And she's like, toy, I won't be a servant, even in your rumors, kind of thing. She continues to call him toy every time he corrects her and says, hi, my name is Matt Cawthon. Is this, Josh, you had mentioned this might be some sort of power dynamic. Ladies, what do you think of this constant use of toy? Are you okay with it? Are you upset by it?
I think it's annoying.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a weird word to say to somebody that you don't really know that well. I mean, I don't know. It's almost like she's showing possession of him.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And yeah, exactly. Ownership over him, and he's a person. Can't do that. Wouldn't be cool if a man was calling a woman a toy. So doesn't feel like it's really appropriate, you know. But they have a weird ass relationship. So
We have a pretty weird relationship. Yeah.
Right. But this is on top of Matt's just getting out of a weird relationship with Thailand.
Yeah.
And so for like someone who wasn't Thailand to call him toy, I'd be upset. Yeah. I wouldn't like it.
I would think it would really ignite something like PTSD kind of style just from recent events. Totally, Dan.
I agree.
I think it's also funny though how like Solucia and Tuon seem to kind of be like in competition with each other, you know, and just by way of like they're naturally very different looking people, you know. So and they both like hold themselves in the highest regard, you know, and it's just this like very strange dynamic between the two of them too.
Yeah.
Tuon's like as slim as a boy, and Solucia's super voluptuous and
bosomy, bosoms.
Yeah, bosomy.
Bosoms.
Yes, no, just bosoms. Yeah, very bosomy, but then she's also really tall too. Anyway, yeah, just looking very different. So, and super powerful women. So I think they're just button heads.
Well, we should also remember the position that Tuon holds. So everyone is kind of freaking, even Eggan was like, don't call her Tuon. That's
Bitch, call
it's
her.
High Lady Tuon until she takes off the veil and then she's the daughter of the Nine Moons. Come on. You can't just name her by her name.
Yeah. He's like, veil? What?
He's like, I didn't see that veil in months. Tuon asks out of the blue if Matt remembers Hawkwing's face.
That part freaked me out.
And Matt was like,
right?
Actually, I do.
He remembered seeing Hawkwing as he was dying.
Hawkwing on a bunch of times.
Yes. And he's like, Hawkwing? What? Don't be dumb. And she's like, yeah, I was dumb. I don't know why I asked. But why would she ask, guys? What happened? Why would it says it says, of course I don't, he lied. What kind of question is that? Her mouth opened slowly, Hubba. A foolish one, Toy, she replied finally. I can't say why it popped into my head.
Taverin.
This is why would
Right?
Taverin do that though? Why would Taverin think? I mean, this is helping the pattern.
Wait, are you saying that Taverin, this is what made that memory pop up into Matt's head?
No, it's what made
Not
Tuon
Matt's,
ask.
Tuon's. Yeah.
It's what made Tuon ask the question.
Oh.
Yeah. Why would she? I mean, she's like, yeah.
In order to put Matt in a position where he has to make some sort of choice or pursue some sort of behavior, right? Put him in a frame of mind, potentially, to engage in something that the pattern requires to be done.
Ladies, do you have any thoughts?
Hold on a second.
Or can she just read his mind somehow? I mean, I don't understand how she would know all this about him.
That's what I'm questioning. Because
Well, I don't think she does. That's why I'm saying it's the pattern. Or
but then continue on. What about the part where she's reading the inscription on his weapon?
Well, she did that. She already did that before. The Ashendari.
Okay. I thought she looked at it before, but I think this is the first time she's spoken.
Yeah, she asked him about it right after. She's like, "What's that written on your thing?"
Yeah, she asked him when she picked it up. Yeah, the first time. But of course, she knows Old Tongue because she's been trained in it as one of the rulers of the Shanshan. Sorry, Chris, I didn't mean to interrupt you. You had something you wanted to say.
No.
No? Okay. Sorry, I felt like I interrupted you there.
No, you're good. I was just confused. I'm just trying. Sorry, I was just confused. I think that's what I was starting to say. That's all, which is not important. I'm confused. And what else is new? Yeah, I thought that Matt had that memory, not that Tuon had that memory.
Yeah, it was Tuon. Tuon asked, do you remember Hawkwing's face? And he does, but the question came to her from a weird place. And she ends up saying, yeah, I can't say why it popped into my head.
Right.
There is, I highlighted this quote, he swallowed a lump in his throat, a hard lump.
I had also, yes.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. Slanja. Tuon gives an oath to Matt. She says, so long as you keep your promises, I will neither escape nor betray you in any way, nor will I cause dissension among your followers. Mistress Anon gaped at her, and Selucia made a sound in her throat, but Tuon appeared not to notice either woman. Matt spits in his hand,
Yeah, she does the dirty deal.
gives the
Love
dirty deal. He's like,
Yeah.
hey, this is what horse traders do.
Yeah.
We hawk lookings into our hand. She calls the tradition earthy. Your customs are earthy, but she spits and says, thus is our treaty written, thus is agreement made. And guess what? Those fucking dice stopped rolling in his head.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Guys, I want you to empathize just a minute. You've played Yahtzee.
Oh. I feel like the dice rolling is like tinnitus.
But
Maybe.
I mean, imagine it being like something that comes and goes, like situationally,
Yeah.
and then will just suddenly stop. I mean, this Yahtzee in a leather cup, just fucking clinking in your head for hours until suddenly they stop, and you're like, wait a minute, what just happened? And this is exactly what Matt feels. He's like, whoa, was this he sees Rand in visions? He's like, did Rand do this? Was it because I spit my hand and shook hands with Tuon? Was it because of Tyland's? I heard Tyland died. What happened? But he does recognize that it has happened. This is the third time now with Tuon. And
Right.
Once is a coincidence, twice is man, and third, it's you're just fucking with me, right? I mean, that's how the law
twice,
works.
3 times.
Once is all right, coincidence, twice, and third, all right, you're just fucking. So I think that's what Matt's feeling. We do hear that Tyland did die, though. Her head was ripped from her body. She was still bound and gagged under the bed. The golem, it appears, according to Matt's assumption, came looking for Matt and tore her apart. Fuck. That is horrible, guys. And Matt is reeling from it. He does not like the treatment he had, but
he cared about her.
He cared about her. He cared about her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tuon is taken aback a little bit. She's like, did you really care for this one? And he's like, well, and he says, yes, no, burn me. I liked her. And I left her tied up and gagged so she couldn't even call for help. Easy prey for the golem. It was looking for me. Don't shake your head, Tom. You know it as well as I did. Tuon asked what a... Oh, go ahead.
So could Tuon... I mean, just thinking out loud here. Could Tuon asking all of these questions be some indication of like her being a truth, like maybe she's a seeker also? Like, how do I put this into words? Like maybe she's asking the questions in order to tell whether or not Matt is telling the truth. Like rather than it being important about what she's asking, maybe her asking is a part of her trying to determine his truth, what he looks like when he lies or doesn't.
That's interesting.
Well, it was Tom who had shared the news.
Right.
Tom hesitated and said she was found in her bedchamber the morning after we left. Still bound hand and foot. Her head had been torn off. So Tuon wasn't part of that news sharing. It was Tom.
Right, but then she asked Matt, "What did you care about her?"
Right. Did you care for Tyland so deeply? She said in a cautious voice.
Right. After, like, I don't know. It's just all the way that she's asking these questions make me wonder if it's not really about the question, like, but about telling whether or not he's telling the truth. I don't know. Just an idea.
Well, she gives him a noogie and says, stop believing in fairy tales.
Right.
Knucklehead. She doesn't. She's heard of golems. And it's like saying, "Oh, a vampire got her," and we're
Well,
like, Psh, "A vampire."
Yeah, I mean, the Sanshin still don't really believe in the Forsaken or in like Trollocs or Murdral, right?
Yeah, exactly. They think that there's stories.
Yeah.
And I
So
don't
wait
think that the
until they encounter
Shanshin
that.
have had. Yeah, I still don't think the Shanshin have battled
Encounter that.
Trollocs, have they?
Right. No, not that we know of.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
a Murdral.
So Matt gets summoned to Jolene. Jolene, please don't take Matthew Cawthon if you can. Quote, she wants you now, Cawthon. Hubba. So he goes. There are and it turns out that they're stuffed in a wagon. It's just some weird shit where it's Aes Sedai, Soldam, and Damane.
All in a box together.
Right, they're all in a box and they all hate each other. Matt's like, what the fuck? What? Oh, my head. This gives me headaches.
Chris, are you putting on a choker?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Yep, maybe that might be what's happening.
This chapter ends with them commenting that there's channeling going on to the north, very far away, very powerful. They think it's Forsaken.
Right.
Now we know that the last book ended with a very powerful channeling event.
Yeah.
I think we can assume
that this is the moment. This is the moment that they're using the Shoten Cow.
Yes, and in fact, that's what Matt sees when this burst of colors, and that's what the chapter is called, a fan of colors. He sees a woman and a man sitting, channeling, and he recognizes Rand. So he's like, "No, this isn't Forsaken. This is Rand." But I don't know what's going on. So this is kind of a meanwhile, while that's going on, Matt is experiencing this.
Yeah, so I'll own being wrong about that. I mean, I did think it had already happened before the story started, so it's close. It was 6 days apart.
Mm-hmm. So I'll ask you, why did the dice stop? Was it something Rand did? Was it something Tuon did? Was it something else? What do you think, Carrie?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the whole dice part is very interesting because he seems to be talking about it more and more and making more connections in his own mind about what's going on. I think at some point you made a connection that it does relate to Tuon. So my theory that I had a while ago is that the dice are related to him getting closer to her, and as soon as he gets closer to her, it stops. So there has to be some connection between the dice. Like maybe the dice are trying to connect him to her. To Vera and shit. I don't know.
Let me ask you.
What about you, Chris?
Stay with this. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay, I was just distracted by chat for a second. What do I think about Tuon?
What do you think about the dice stopping?
Again
with Tuon and Matt?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why it seems consistent. He notices that it happened twice before, right? And then it happens again. So it does seem like that's why. But I don't know. I mean, maybe because like he gets some sort of like relief from being around her, and so it's like some sort of incentive. Like it's encouraging, you know. I don't know, you know. Does that make sense?
So my theory.
Yeah, go ahead, Josh.
My theory is that each time is a moment where the storyline could have changed. And if one or the other of them had behaved differently in that moment, then the pattern would not have set to follow the course that leads to the story as it's going to be told now. That essentially they were like branch points in the multiverse where the story could have diverged radically based upon how each of them behaved in the moment. Like, for instance, if she hadn't shook his hand and sealed the deal, then maybe down the road she would have betrayed him in a certain way or whatever, right? Like, but that it's essentially the crystallization of the storyline that the book is that happens each time the dice stops in that moment. That's my theory. Probably fucking totally wrong, but that's where I'm coming from with it at the moment.
Why would so why are there dice?
Well, Matt's a gambler, and that's something that he identifies with.
There's
And
lots
it's
of
a direct
gamblers in
symbol.
this story, though.
It's a direct symbol for chance, right? I mean, what is a dice roll other than chaos and chance coming together to create a single outcome out of a multiplicity of possibilities? That's what a dice roll is a symbol of in any piece of literature or poetry, right? I mean, there's obviously other meanings that it can have as well. But
doesn't this the use of this dice, doesn't that seem the antithesis of this?
It does.
Doesn't this indicate not chaos but
I don't
prophecy
think so.
and
right, but
destiny?
that's why. Well, yeah, because it's destiny that's happening when the dice fall. But before that, they have free will in theory and can make other decisions. Matt could have died in any of the battles or any of the fights, any of the moments of danger where the dice rolled before, where they didn't settle. They settled at the moment that he was safe. But he could have made a different decision and died in any of those moments. And then prophecy would not happen, right? So there's always the chance.
In those moments, there was something else that like saved him, and it wasn't him that made the choice to do the thing that ended up saving him. Like in a lot of situations,
it's the situation
around him.
Just like Tuon had to
what you're saying, like Tavernus,
just like
right?
Well, just like Tuon also had to make the right decision in order for the dice to stop. If either of them had made a different decision, the dice might, whatever the outcome could have been different, right?
But could it have been? Or are the dice
otherwise what's the point? Otherwise, what's the point? Well, that is the pattern. The pattern is, okay, so let's step back for a second. What is the pattern in the context of the story? It's the storyline that Robert Jordan is telling. Right? Because it's a novel, and that is the storyline that has been expressed in text. Therefore, the storyline that is the book is the pattern. Yes?
Yeah, but
From
that's
a meta level.
That's a meta way of thinking of it. Yeah.
Well, how else are you going to think about it? We're readers outside the text.
The storyline is.
I'm trying to think just within the story. What do the dice actually represent, and why are they there?
They represent chance and the possibility of chaos.
Or does Tavernus actually provide it provides like not this essence of, well, it depends on what you decide free will is. So I guess all right, we'll call it fate for the sake of this argument, because I think I'm gonna have a hard time calling it free will. Anyway, so if Tavernus is like fate, then how do I even freaking get this out of my mouth? Okay, I had a note.
Right.
Yeah,
maybe the
I agree.
Is like an interference of some kind. Like maybe maybe that's interfering with the Tavernus and not necessarily deciding something.
Or is it Tavernus interfering in reality?
Maybe they're two. It feels more like, it feels like they're two. It almost feels like there are two entities like kind of battling each other for Matt. You know, like there's the Tavernus, but then there's these dice.
Ooh, I like that.
Rolling
Carissa.
around, and it seems like it's conflicting. So he's
They are
like
called the dark. They are called the Dark One's eyes.
constantly in a weird space. So
Right.
yeah, and I think it might have something to do with the dark
So
one
maybe it's
because
the
you know
Great
he's got this.
Lord's influence
Yeah, maybe.
Carrie, do you
on
think
that.
that Matt is carrying part of the Dark One's own luck?
Can I read something here?
Yeah, please, please.
Okay, so in the beginning of chapter 3, when he's talking about the dice, there's a section here that says, only a man with porridge for brains would believe he got warnings from hearing the dice no one could see, or maybe a man marked by the power or by the Dark One.
Mm-hmm.
He did not want any of those things to be suspected about him. So, I mean, what if it's not necessarily a turning in the road? What if it's more like it's warning him of danger and it's kind of forcing him to go in a certain direction because he's trying to get out of danger?
Well, how does that
But as
apply
far
with
as
the
it
three?
being-
How does that apply in the case of the 3 Tuon instances? I would agree
And
with
it
you
does-
up until the point where
Well,
Tuon is
I originally
encountered 3
thought it
times.
was leading. I was originally thought it was leading. The dice were leading him towards her, but there's been so many times where the dice rattled and she wasn't even in the picture.
Correct.
So it's just very confusing.
Well, that's why I feel like it has to be generalized rather than a specific thing. So how do you generalize that into a philosophy or something that's common across all of them? Or can it mean different things in different contexts?
Possibly.
Well, and to that point, are the dice a result of the Aelfin or Eilfin?
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
I
And
don't
if
know.
so, how does
But I
this
like it.
manifest within the pattern, I guess? Is it a positive? I don't know really how to really reconcile what the dice, why they occur, and what they're actually doing when they start rattling and when they stop. Like the whole thing is still very enigmatic to me. And so I like your theories a lot. I don't know, man. It's
well, the momentary
weird.
nature of it is actually really interesting, right? It's not like they're always rattling and they just choose random times to settle. Something causes it to start, which is
it's
again
episodic, right? It's something.
Right,
there's a catalyst,
right? Which makes
I
me
had a
think that there's
question.
some. Oh, go ahead, Krista.
No,
I'll hold
it's
my
okay, I'm
thought.
writing it down. Go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm writing it down.
No, I can hold my thought. You can't, so just deliver it to us.
Okay.
Say it. Say it.
What was Rand? I know. Quickly. What was Rand doing when the dice stopped rolling? For when Matt met Tuon, I think that he was wondering. I think there was like a wondering of sorts that happened.
Right.
And
That's
like,
how
I couldn't help but wonder what Rand was doing when the
Right.
dice stopped rolling
The
for him.
chapter ends. He could not help wondering what had Rand been doing when the dice stopped. That was his final thought in that chapter.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Maybe that's why I stood out.
No,
I like that.
exactly.
That's an important one, Carissa. No, that's
we
really
have colors. We have
and I
both
love
Perrin and Rand.
colors.
But Perrin doesn't have dice, but could it still be attributed to Rand at some point?
the fact that it's episodic does seem to indicate that at some moment a set of possibilities opens up because of either a situation or a set of set and setting, right? Circumstances. And then something resolves that luck
seems like
or that
awareness
chaos.
is there too, in the same kind of timing, doesn't it? Like it always kind of seems like there's a Tavernus something happening around him or with him specifically, and then like the dice are rolling or they just stopped rolling or something. You know, like it's always feels very close together. Am I wrong about that?
No, you're not. And it's weird because Ryan and I feel that Tavernus, you don't have control over your. If you're Tavern, you are pretty much prophesized to do things, and yet these dice show up that indicate whether an important event has happened or not. where Rand and Perrin don't have these same things. So it is something exclusive just to this Taverin, and this Taverin has gone through the and saw the Finn, went and talked to them. So
if the girls are also Taverin, if Nynaeve and Elaine and Egwene are also Taverin, can we draw parallels to any of their experiences?
That's a good question. Is there anything that resembles the dice tumbling in Elaine or Egwene?
That would be a really fun deep dive to
Yeah.
go, like look that up and see what happens like with those characters around those times.
Or Nynaeve. Yeah, I don't know.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, exactly, Skeeter. Yeah.
Right. That's a good question, Skeeter. Exactly.
Yeah, there's another. It could be related to foretelling.
Yeah. So is Matt of the power? What is it? What do they call the abilities? Like
talents.
Foretelling talents. Like right. Could like Tuon have a talent? Could Matt have a talent?
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Talent?
I want to
talents
move on
are
from
like
this chapter.
Their ability to do something like Min. Is Min's ability a talent?
Min has a talent. The sniffer is a talent.
Right.
I understand what talent is. I just wasn't sure what you meant.
Yeah.
If that's the word you said.
Matt can bend over and fit his, what in his. No,
yes,
sorry.
In this age of talent means I'm double jointed. My thumb can go. Boom, boom, boom,
oh no. Well, in that case, Matt's got so many talents. I think
so many talents.
He can be bound and gagged and tortured and
lad.
Still have fun with it sometimes.
Dude, that's fun with it. Is there anything else in chapter 3 any of you wanted to bring up before we move on?
So I like this up. So could a true dream be similar to the dice? It's really, I like it.
Oh.
I like it.
The dice are weird to me.
The
dice are weird.
Yeah.
And just hearing this.
And how are they connected? Could it be connected to the dagger somehow? Did he have the dice prior to Shadar Logoth? No, right?
I don't think
That's
so.
what I was thinking, is that that this had something to do with the dagger. Exactly, Josh.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was
thinking. And is this possibly why Matt is always so defensive and concerned about the Dark One's own luck and whether this is
right.
from
exactly,
the light or
Dan.
from the back? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. We know that Matt does have a different relationship to evil, quote unquote, than, and even the show tries to portray this, right? Like Matt has a different relationship to evil than Perrin and Rand do.
Well, yeah, exactly. And just to evil throughout his childhood, kind of thing happening. Like just
he was abused by his stepdad or his father or whatever. Right.
Yeah.
Or stepping, getting in front of the way of the beatings of his little brothers and sisters, like that kind of thing. So
well, that was in the show. That wasn't really in the book.
That's not in the book too?
No. His parents are fine. His dad's a horse trader, but his parents, that was the show.
He didn't have to protect his younger siblings in the book.
No, but he did love his sisters.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I'm
there was
thinking
no
of.
abuse. Yeah.
Okay. I have a question.
Please.
So I have a note that I wrote down about the colors. And it feeling like it's almost like it's synesthesia for something. Like he had like he's got this ability to see it in some way, but I don't know what it is. Like what do you feel like this? I just had a question, I guess, about that. What do you guys think that really meant, and what kind of level was that? Like, is he conscious during those? And he has just a vision?
Are you talking about
formed an image, vague impression that might have been a man and a woman seated on.
Here's what it says. It says, this time he had not thought of either of his friends, but the colors had suddenly been there, a fan of 1,000 rainbows. This time they had almost formed an image, a vague impression that might have been a man and a woman seated on the ground facing one another. It was gone in an instant, but he knew as surely as he knew his name, not the Forsaken,
Rands, right. Well, it's confusing because we already started seeing this after the crossing of the streams. Okay, right?
That's true. Okay, so like he's just seeing a vision of then like Rand and Nynaeve or something.
He is. He's seeing them using the Chosen
taint.
Call. Mm-hmm.
Like they're okay.
Trying to cleanse the
taint
taint.
Cleanse? Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But this fan of colors, he didn't think of him before. It just occurred.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Unlike normally where when they would
that's
think of
true.
each other, it would like Perrin, experiences it where he thinks of Rand and he sees the flash of colors and gets kind of dizzy, kind of like Rand does when he connects with the One Power.
Is this a progression of this condition? Are we going to see this more and more?
Oh. I wonder.
He didn't even think of them, and suddenly it
unless-
popped up.
Was that happening at the same time though? Or
Yes.
did that already happen? Or was that going to happen?
It was happening currently. It
Yeah,
was,
because the Aes Sedai are like someone's using the power like insane over that direction. We shouldn't be
right.
able to
It
see.
says,
true.
if you must know
Okay.
someone is channeling, it says far away, the amount of side arrow being wielded must be immense, inconceivable. It has to be the Forsaken, and wherever whatever they're doing, we do not want to be any closer than we can avoid.
Yeah.
And that's like, well, if it's far, we just keep doing our shit.
If it's so far away, then we don't need to fucking.
Yeah, fuck them. Fuck 'em. All right, let's jump to chapter 4. I liked this chapter. I want to know how you guys liked it. This was a Shanshin chapter. This was for Kiridi. I mean, Fiora Kiridi.
I'll be right back.
And he is an officer in the Death Watch Guard. And his job is to guard Tuon, and Tuon's been gone for fucking 11 days, guys. We learned that Tuon has kind of faked her own death a couple times, that there's been attempts on her life as early as when she was just born. The Shanshin are weird. And Kiridi, every time he thinks of the Empress, may she live forever, right? And we, to me, I do attribute this to like religious fanaticism, more specifically like Allah. That whenever you say His name, you must give praise. That sort of thing.
Right.
This is so we get a sense of the Empress. We also get a sense that Tuon is an important person who gave up her thing to put on a veil, but can be, it's a little bit confusing, but it is explained a little bit, I guess. There are they know that Tywin was assassinated. They know that everyone escaped. They know a lot of stuff. We're like watching or reading the reports of the Shanshin, like CIA or FBI or something. We're getting like deep
I believe
messages.
NSA technically, but yes.
NSA. Okay, yeah, NSA. We see an Ogier Gardener.
Okay, hang on. There's a drinking obligation.
Oh, please.
Must be rimming.
Nice.
Okay. Yes.
Do go on.
Do go on.
I didn't underline anything in this. Oh no, I did. All right. I did underline something. All right. Quote: a tiny squeal and a pleased grunt from Ajamura.
Okay, that's pretty good.
A tiny squeal and a pleased grunt. Yeah. Ajamura is a guy who kills rats and eats them.
Gross.
Delicious.
So we learned on him.
That's disgusting.
But there are a lot more rats around lately. Is this, and we've heard before that rats are part of the Dark One's spies. Is this part of that? Or are there just more
Probably.
rats because war brings pestilence?
Well, also it's wintertime. It's getting cold out. The rats are coming inside.
Logical.
Kadiri talks to a seeker. A seeker comes in, slips on in. Kadiri handles him pretty well, better than anyone else.
Better than most that we've seen, yeah.
Yeah. But
what are you calling this guy?
Karidi. I
thought you said it like several different.
I said Kadiri.
Yeah,
Kadiri, but it's Karidi.
Karidi. Okay.
Karidi kept a doll, so he's been guarding Tuon since birth. He saved her from a few assassination attempts. One of them, she gave him a doll that the Seekers know about, man. They're like, hey, so you kept this doll. What the hell? Apparently, they're supposed to be like the attorney
You're not supposed to get it. Well, you're not supposed to show attachment to the people that you protect.
Right. Who cares who it is? You serve the office.
Right.
But Karidi had become attached to Tuon, and he's bummed because she's been gone for 11 days. Handles this dude pretty well. The guy who comes in, the Seeker.
Yeah.
And Artha, who's the first gardener. So he's like the best gardener. And he's like a gray Ogier. I want to see an old Ogier. I bet you they're so dignified and majestic and gray.
Really?
Yeah.
I imagine him with like a Monopoly guy lens and maybe a little like round hat with a turned up brim and a bow tie. I don't know.
I like that.
And he goes, "Oh, I do say, my boy."
Yeah.
I imagine them more like an old horse with like a sagging spine, but
oh, so that just makes
yeah, I know, Skeeter. It's Karidi. Yeah, I know, Kadir. Yeah,
Kadiri.
I know. So this was more or less just like a behind the scenes for the Shanshin. What did I miss in this chapter that you wanted to address, guys?
Okay, let me find.
We do learn that a Damane's face was always deceptive. They aged slowly and lived a very long time. But the Damane had the Aes Sedai, there was a difference he had learned to recognize as those belonging to those who call themselves Aes Sedai. What do you have any thoughts about what that is saying? You can identify an Aes Sedai as opposed to what is the difference? That ageless face?
The agelessness. So, from what I understand, they are ageless. They look older if they are an Aes Sedai, right? And then they look kind of younger, right? If they are not, like if they haven't taken the 3 oaths. Wasn't that?
Well, it sounds like it sounds like it says here that a Damane's face was always deceptive. They aged slowly and lived a very long time.
It's just like with the kin. The kin all looked younger than their years, and they look younger than an Aes Sedai of the same age.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they also didn't have the super tight skin like Aes Sedai skin.
Because they can channel, not because of the 3 oaths. It's because they can. They're channels.
The Botox.
Botox in them. Yeah.
Oh, I miss my Botox.
I miss it. You know what?
Skeeter,
I need Can you see
Ajambura is creepy as fuck.
Right? Oh my God. You can see every facial expression in my face now. I'm way too expressive. It needs to calm down.
Ajambura is rad, man. That dude's rad. That guy's rad. What's creepy about it?
He
All
drinks out of a human skull, Dan.
I know, right?
He stabs
What the fuck
rats.
do you mean? What's creepy about him?
I mean,
Thank you.
Come on,
That's
man.
exactly. I'm so glad you mentioned the skull.
all right. Point taken. Let's jump to chapter 5. This is called The Forging of a Hammer. I know, Carrie, you were excited to see the title of this.
Did we miss anything in chapter 4 for you, Carrie?
Yeah, can we go back to chapter 4, please?
Yeah.
I was confused about the part where the dude was drinking from the skull cup thing, because it almost seemed like he was not knowing what he's drinking from before it became too late, and it was almost like some type of truth serum thing, like he was just speaking the truth.
Oh.
Like, what is that thing? What is that thing that he was drinking from?
It's his servant's cup it's his servant's traditional cup from his tribe.
Are you referring to the silvery taste that might have been in the drink?
The silvery
there was
taste is
something
the
that-
silver polish that
What was that though?
Ajambura uses to polish the inside of the cup.
Oh, gross. Okay, thank you.
He offers wine to the seeker from a special bowl, and he starts rambling. So I don't know. I just thought that section was so weird.
What page in the hardback are you on, Carrie?
You know what? That is a very good question. Give me a minute to figure this out. Let's see.
I'm sorry, I'm here.
So it says, plans, unthinking. Karide picked up Ajambura's cup and almost drank before he realized what he was doing. He continued to hold the cup, though, so as not to give away his turmoil. Everyone, those who knew anyway, was sure the Hylia Tuan's disappearance was part of some contest to succeed the Empress. Might she live forever?
I do love that even in their thoughts, they wish that she lives forever. It's like that that root, that kind of mantra, you know?
Yeah, it's so ingrained. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else in chapter 4?
Nope.
So the guard or the seeker says, Moore blinked, showing a faint consternation. He held the only cup, and a light of understanding appeared in his eyes, an uneasy light. He filled the bowl, too, a trifle unsteadily, and wiped his hand on his coat before taking it up. Every man had his limits, even a seeker, and the man pushed to them was especially dangerous, but he was also off balance.
Mm-hmm.
Accepting the skull cup with both hands, Karide raised it high and lowered his head. And then he makes a toast to the Empress.
Right, and this is the first time I think we've seen a seeker seem a little rattled.
Yeah.
And human.
Putting Ajambura's cup to his lips, Karide was aware of the other man watching him drink. The wine was indeed cool, the spices bitter, and there was a faint acrid hint of silver polish. He told himself the taste of dead man's dust was his imagination.
Mm. And later, Moore raised his cup. Your health, Benegard Furyk. Your health and the health of the Empress. Karide drained Ajambura's cup without hesitation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. But he's drinking from a skull.
Mm-hmm. He's drinking from his servant's skull.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought that part was interesting.
Very interesting, for sure. I mean, like, it could be that the seeker put something into the cup before he handed it to Karide, like a truth serum, like you're saying. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
but I don't see anything that complicates that. It seems like they both are they're playing like a power game where they're both trying to knock one another off balance, right? And they both kind of succeed, but I feel like Karide in the end comes out on top. Village mattress? Holy
I know. It's been a while. It's been a while.
Been a while. What up?
There is an interesting little passage here where Karide he's questioning what he's learned, right? It says here, quote, people on this side of the Eastern Sea were often peculiar with odd customs and little like the stories told of the great Hawkwing's homeland, often nothing like. They must be understood, of course, if they were to be brought into the empire, but understanding was for others higher than he. He had his duty. So he's like, yeah, I've heard some stories about this land, and this is nothing like it, but what? Oh, job's a job.
Right.
So I guess, when you travel, you experience things, you break out of your stereotypes, right? So the moral is go travel, guys.
So I do love that chapter 5's title brings us. You weren't on the show back when, Carrie, but I've always pointed out this strong use of metaphor of Perrin being swapped between the axe and the hammer. And for a long time, he was associated with the axe. And there were these like the scene where like the axe attacks him when there's one of the bubbles of evil, which why have we not seen a fucking bubble of evil in several books?
It's a good point.
But like now we're back to Perrin being called the hammer again and him viewing himself symbolically, literally as a hammer rather than the axe,
Right, but
even though he's wearing the axe and he's going to battle. So it's beautiful. It's this like harmonization of both halves of his story now like coming into synchrony.
when I turned the page and I saw this chapter title, I'm like, oh, cool, we're going to get some weapons, we're going to get some metal. And then I read the whole chapter and I'm like, oh, it's all metaphorical.
It's all metaphor, right?
I'm like, I got my hammer.
But an
What
axe
this-
has a battle axe has a use. Does a battle axe have a use when a hammer does not? If it's not being, it's like, I don't know. Like if you substitute axe for hammer in all of these metaphors, does it sound different? Does it look different? I was trying to do that in my mind as I read the chapter. The last sentence, an axe was useless lying at rest.
Correct. But we are seeing this point of view from a blacksmith, right?
Right, but he had associated himself with the axe, not the hammer, for so long. Mm-hmm. And now that he's a lord and he's like, he still sees himself as a blacksmith and he's about to go into battle, but now he's like imagining himself again as the hammer. It's a fascinating, like, why is that? And what does that mean? Right.
Angel. My bubbles.
Angel.
My bubbles. I love that. I'll be your bubble.
Love it.
Well, we are in chapter 5. It is called The Forging of a Hammer, and it is the first Perrin chapter of this book. The last book ended with Fael being kidnapped, and this is Perrin 22 days after that occurred. He has been counting. He's been tying knots. He has in his pocket 22 days. This, guys, let's just be empathetic, right? I mean, let's say someone you love and care about has been gone for 3 weeks and they've been kidnapped. This is very anxiety ridden. He is not handling it well. He is not sleeping. He's having nightmares. He's not going into the dream, like the wolf dream. He's going into normal dreams, and they're still very, very fucked up. he's not handling this well.
So
go ahead.
Go ahead. I'll circle back in a second.
He overreacts, tries to get ahead of the Shido, realizes that they've double backed on him, and all his hunting was in vain. He needs to be more detailed, and is starting to hone in on them, but it's taken him 3 weeks to get there.
So that's actually an interesting bit about a hammer, right? The hammer is symbolic of the builder, whereas the axe is symbolic of the warrior. And here he is. He's realized that like he has to be more constructive and more nuanced in his approach in order to find them, rather than just acting on his anger. He has to use his rationality to like find them and construct a way to save her.
That's interesting because, and ladies, go ahead and jump in here. But the axe, if you're building, you have to cut wood. You have to. I mean, the axe is a tool to a certain degree. It's not all for death, right?
Well, this axe is. It's got a fucking spike on the back. I mean, it's this isn't a wood cutting axe. Like.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Very good point. All right. But he does say, quote, that he had not been in the wolf dream, that reflection of a world where dead wolves lived on and the living could go to consult them. Have we had this description of the wolf dream before, like in such base terms?
I think so.
Kind of, sort of. I can't really tell you where it was, but it's been a while.
I think during the Strider battle, we did.
Okay. He reaches out to a pack of wolves that's far away and says, "Hey, I'm young bull." Sends a scent, gets their scent. He's like, "Hey, so what really fucking flips out wolves?" And they all get mad and run away. But one of them says the last hunt is coming. And he's like, "Wait, did I offend? I didn't mean it." She says the last hunt is coming. And that's it. That's what the wolves call the last battle. So, and he's like, "Oh, well, they boned out. I won't be able to get into that chat room anytime soon. They blocked me. I got canceled. Parent got canceled by wolves."
This sentence on page 172 of the hardback is like, that was when he. Okay, I'll read the previous two sentences too. He had wanted to howl when he realized that. And Perrin at last turned east, at most 2 days south of where he had traveled the first time. He'd wanted to howl when he realized that, yet he kept a tight hold on himself. He could not give way, not so much as an inch, not when Fael was depending on him. And then here's the sentence that's so just... That was when he began to husband his anger, began to forge it. It's just like, just so beautifully literary.
I agree.
He's her husband, and it's forging his anger. And it's just like all of the bits all wrapped up in there in this literally 10-word sentence with a comma. So well written.
I underlined that as well. That's a good line. But I did underline some drinking obligations. So let me know if I'm on point here. All right. Quote. "Come between sunrise and sunset."
Okay.
All right. Tossing the blankets aside, Perrin tugged.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. Solange. And soft and thick like a jelly.
Nice. What about, even if I say no to 9 in a row, I'll always say yes to the 10th.
That says a lot. Okay.
Right? It's like a whole story.
All right, so I underlined something else here. My wife has the name Grace, so Perrin jerked his head. Grace had a funny way of favoring.
Nice.
And finally, finally. Thin wedge of a strange pie.
Nice. Okay, I've got one more.
Okay.
Lying motionless on his back.
Yep.
Okay.
That
yeah.
works.
If you're Mormon or something. I don't know. If you like that style, maybe. I don't.
Soaking. I've heard about it. Yeah.
Right? Very little movement.
Yeah. No, it's just you don't move at all.
Uh-huh.
So Aram is there, and Balwer. I want to talk about 7 Balwer.
I love how Balwar has changed here, and like the insight we get through Perrin's recognition of his scent about his inner world.
Okay, go on.
And it's just his hatred of, like, I was very suspicious of Balwar, like in the sense of I didn't think he had really turned sides, but these paragraphs really seem to lead to him earnestly being on having Perrin's back and serving him as his new master, and feeling so respected in a way that he never had, which I feel like makes him an even more of an ally.
Let's talk about who Baldwin served before. So he described
Adrian Meow.
But how he describes him is
that he had needles of poison hidden in him.
My
that were
previous
just under the
employer
surface.
disliked me suggesting actions unless I was asked.
Yeah.
I am fond of serving you, pleasant in ways I found you serving you pleasant in ways I did not expect, which I guess is a drinking obligation.
Yeah.
You are what you see, my lord, with no poison needles hidden away to catch the unwary. My previous employer was known widely for cleverness, but I believe you are equally clever in a different way. I believe I would regret leaving your service. Is he on the up and up, or is he shady?
I think he's
Carrie.
on the up and up.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
I already gave
Carrie.
my answer.
Oh, well, I'm trying to remember, who he was before he came into the company of these people. So he was the real spy master, not the fake spy master with the white cloak, right? Because there was a fake one and then there was the real one. So
Here's the real one.
I feel like 100% he's shady. I don't trust him at all.
Yeah. Okay. Kay, do you have a feeling one way or the other about seven Balwer? He's the like the spy guy for Perrin.
So yeah, I did have something. Let me just get back to that. Yes, So actually I had a question for Josh. How did we feel about Aram? Do we still trust him? Because he doesn't trust.
That's a good
Balor.
one. Yeah, he doesn't at all.
Aram trusts him. He's just jealous.
No, he says, I don't trust him.
He says-
Aram murmured.
Right, but that's because he's jealous of Balwar spending time with Perrin. That's the underlying part.
Is Aram in love? Does Aram love Perrin?
Aram loves Fael
Oh, is that what it is?
and Perrin both, probably.
No.
But certainly Fael.
Well, was Aram attached with Fael or Perrin?
Perrin, but then he becomes
Only
with Perrin originally, but then he becomes even more attached with Fael.
Right. Okay. Carrie, what do you think? What do you think about Aram?
I think he's more attached to Perrin than Fail. I think Fail is just the package deal when Perrin got married to someone. I mean, he has to be loyal to her because by default he's married to her now. But Aram, is his loyal servant. I mean, it's like his what's the word I'm looking for? Right hand man. Like he wants to protect him, but he also wants to learn from him, and he doesn't like anybody else to get in his way. And at the end of this chapter, when he's like, "Yeah, I don't trust that guy one bit," I'm like, "Yes, don't trust him."
Yeah.
I actually trust Balbar now. I think he has Perrin's best interest in mind. I think he's the kind of man who goes to whoever has the most power.
And that's kind of why I don't trust him, though.
Right.
You know?
Right. That seems opportunistic as opposed to loyal.
It's opportunistic, but he's now being treated well for the first time in his life.
I mean, I can see your point.
Or is he just
definitely.
saying that?
Perrin would be able to
Is he
smell.
lying?
Perrin would be able to smell if he was. I mean, unless you don't trust Perrin's ability to sense people's truth. So, which do you trust less, Balbar or Perrin's abilities?
No, yeah.
Can he sense truth or just emotions? Because people can lie and still not show emotions, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I suppose you're right.
And Perrin, this whole chapter is struggling with trust. He brings it up a few times as far as
but he trusts Balbar.
He trusts Balbar, but Aram does not. But he trusts Aram. Yeah.
But he even says like Aram is jealous of anyone who spends time with Perrin other than him. So,
speaking of trust, Perrin walks through the Two Rivers part of the camp and is kind of given the big cold shoulder.
He is, yeah. Oh, fuck.
And it's suggested that it's because of something that he does that was unfaithful.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really suggested what, but they don't like him. Skeeter, you got it, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
What do we take? I mean, Perrin is writing in with the fucking flag of Manetheren and the wolf banner with him, and yet the Two Rivers people are kind of treating him like shit. Any thoughts? Am I boring you to tears, Carrie?
I suffer from dry eye, so it feels like I'm always crying, and it's annoying as fuck.
I apologize. I was just having fun. But do we have any thoughts about that? I mean, I guess with the whole thing with trust, are the Two Rivers men not trusting Perrin? I mean, this whole camp doesn't seem very unified like we normally see. Am I wrong in saying that?
I think it's about Barrelane, isn't it? I think it's about Barrelane and Fail. This is the distrust. I mean, that's the time we saw it was the morning after Barrelane claims that she and Perrin slept together.
So he's been dealing with this for
ever since
3 weeks.
3 books. Yeah. 3 books, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like things are building.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's about the Barrelane rumors. I'm pretty sure that was my understanding, but maybe other people have other theories.
I had a hard time paying attention to this chapter. So.
I don't have any thoughts on this part. Sorry.
Okay, no sweat. Any thoughts about Massima? We hear that he is sending. Perhaps he was meeting with the Aes Sedai.
Yeah, what's that all about? Like, what has he got cooking in his
I don't know about
plans?
this. Yeah, this is weird.
Okay.
Yeah, this is weird.
Okay. Yeah, it is intentionally obfuscated.
Obfuscated.
Is
yeah.
that Yeah. In that Perrin is the narrator and he doesn't know either. So, I guess, all right, fair enough. What did I miss in this chapter that you wanted to bring up?
I have a quick question I keep meaning to ask.
Please.
Oliver, do we think Oliver is a spy?
Yeah, what's up with Oliver, guys?
Because that kid keeps popping up, and he's always like playing a game of some sorts, like an actual game, though.
He's a little kid that likes big bosoms.
And he looks older than he is, looks taller than for his age. It's just all weird. It all seems weird. The details about him that we get, I'm just like, what? Huh? What was that? Why is that in there? Like,
Oliver is a spy? Huh.
That. So I don't know.
I think it's Rand. I think it's. Okay. Yeah, I never thought that, but I do think that Oliver is Matt's projection of himself as a child, and who doesn't like a big bosom? Tits make people smile. Okay.
Of course.
It's true.
Nobody's negating that. He's entitled to be super happy about the bosoms, and I'm happy for him. But I'm just like, also, I think he's looking at, not just bosoms, and maybe reporting back to somebody.
So I guess, are there dark friends or spies around Matt that you can identify or think? Or parent. So we have Bauer, we have Oliver, we have others.
Verlaine, I don't trust her.
Berlane. Who can be a dark friend around these people? Berlane, maybe? Carrie, pick a side. Pick a side. Yes or no? Berlane, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Kay, Berlane, dark friend, yes or no?
I don't want to pick one Berlane.
I didn't ask you.
Info. All right. Yeah.
All right. Yes. Josh?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm actually, no, I'm going no. Actually, I was, the yes was like pulling teeth to get out of me. And I'm like, I don't feel that way. I really don't think that.
All right. What about Oliver?
Berlane? Oliver is a little shit, and I don't know if he's dark friend or not, but I do think that he's up to something. Maybe
would the dark one
spy.
use little kids? Do you think that's something he would do?
Why wouldn't he? He does everything else bad. But like also, I mean, he's very evil. Like that's not the part that I like about the Great Lord.
Bosoms.
Anyway, so.
Josh, Oliver. Dark friend or no?
No.
Spy or no?
Carrie.
No, Oliver is the sweetest little thing. I love Oliver. He is like a little. Isn't he like an orphan? Like he's an orphan that Matt took under his wing, and he's like a big fan of Matt.
He's a horse racer. He's a big fan of Matt.
Yeah,
he is innocent.
Man, any little orphans are so prone to the dark one. It's like a recruiting. Okay. He just goes to orphanages.
Who's seen Men in Black?
Do you ever see Oliver? No, do you ever see Oliver Twist? They were all dark friends. The Artful Dodger? Total dark friend.
No, really. Men in Black talks about that little kid, the little girl. He shoots the little girl. Will Smith shoots the little girl because he's like, that girl in the middle of the hood, late at night, with quantum physics books. Those are way too old for her. She is up to something. Like, and that's how I feel about Oliver. Like, this is not right. Something's off with him. It feels, I don't know, it's just, I feel like, there's lots of stuff I don't know off the top of my head. I wish I could back it up with quotes,
I think Oliver.
I'll try to go back and find some stuff that just made me like, huh?
I think Oliver is Matt. I think Oliver is Matt's child that he's raising in the image of himself in the way that he wishes he had been treated as a child.
That could be true also for Matt and like Matt's perspective. But I think that maybe we would get something different if we had Oliver's true perspective. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. This is wild thing to think, I guess, but it's just anywhere.
Here's
Just
Oliver's
think about all the
chapter.
forces that are- think about all the forces that are arrayed against fucking Rand right now.
Yeah.
The White Tower, the Aiel, the bad Aiel, the Sunshine,
Yeah.
Massima, kind of, the White Cloaks. There's more that I'm forgetting, but like, it's
Etc.
wild. There's a lot of pieces on the.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pieces on the board right now.
Etc.
Etc. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to think about who is trying to corrupt
So I trust-
Matt and Perrin, right?
Mm-hmm.
I trust Aram less than I trust Master Balwar, and I'm going to put that out there. That if anyone's going to betray fucking
Wow.
Perrin, it's going to be Aram and not Balwar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
But that's just my
Great.
theory.
Mm-hmm.
right. Who would betray Matt
Interesting.
out of his friends?
Matt has friends.
Who would? Betray?
Well, he has a
Yeah,
whole
what?
army. He has a kid that hangs out with him. He has bosoms.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Galore.
my
So many bosoms. Carrie,
Yeah,
do you have
Luca.
a thought?
Luca would betray him because he's only helping him for money.
Yeah, Luca.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
That's probably
yep, for
a
sure.
good bet. Yeah.
Could Luca be a dark friend?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I
For
don't
sure.
think.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
think he's a dark friend. I just think that he's doesn't really care
He-
about them. He's just
He could be. He's not, but he could be.
yeah.
I think he totally. Yeah, but no, I don't know.
Man, I'm tired.
A lot of thoughts that just happened. Oh.
Is there anything else in chapter 5 that I missed that we wanted to touch on? Carrie, read the notes.
I know. I'm checking my notes really quick.
Your notes are awesome.
I mean, one of the Aes Sedai that went to talk to Massima was Verlaine's advisor. I don't know if that meant anything. But I think we covered all the big points.
Is there concern with Massimo? Any predictions as far as how this may resolve with Perrin and Massimo?
Not going to
So
go
he's
well.
trying to.
It's not gonna
He's
go
trying
well.
to take him. He's trying to take him to see Rand, right? But through a small detour to go rescue Fael, right? So he's trying to like go on two separate paths, but he's kind of stuck.
Mhm.
Right. And
Right.
Perrin is essentially going against his. So the question is for me, is Perrin going against his Taveran nature by going on this detour, or does something have to happen to him during this detour that the pattern requires? That's the question I've been turning over in my mind this whole book, or since this chapter.
Say that one more time.
Is Perrin's detour to rescue Fael necessary for the pattern, i.e., a part of his Taveran nature, or is he acting in against his Taveran nature by following his heart and doing this thing that he thinks is necessary, but the pattern may not require?
Josh, you make a great point.
Well-
Perrin he sees the colors a couple times, but pushes them down with his anger.
Mm-hmm.
Can he do that though? Like, I mean, can he?
Yes, I mean,
can he choose something different than Tavernus if it's Tavernus.
According to my interpretation, yes. That's essential for the book to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because if not, then it's not really that interesting. They're just all
Right,
faded
yeah.
and whatever, it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
like what they do.
Yeah.
So hopefully, or I'm going to be
Yeah,
really
right.
fucking pissed at the end of 15 books.
Right. Jesus. Okay. So yeah, well then that's something weird. That's a weird thing to think about. I don't know. Yeah,
I
think
love-
I
it's
don't,
got,
again,
like,
it's just a question.
duplication.
It's there's no way to know the answer right now. It's just,
Yeah.
It
No,
seems
Perrin's
like
got something.
Perrin is on a renegade mission.
He's on a personal quest right now, it feels like.
A personal quest. It's a side quest against like what, because the pattern doesn't give a shit whether he has a wife, you would
Right.
think.
Right.
Mhm.
Or was
And
Fail
yet-
being taken
Well-
requisite for him to have some experience that will shape him for Tarmangaiden?
Mm,
Right?
mm,
We don't know.
Yeah.
mm.
Sorry, Chris. I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No, you're fine. Yeah, I was thinking like maybe Fail I thought Fail had some other purpose to be in Perrin's life, like
Mm-hmm.
at least temporarily. Like I don't know if she needs to hang out for forever, but like I think she serves a purpose in this whole thing. And I'm just having trouble remembering why I think that. I mean, I don't know, other than a lot of things happen for a reason and from like prophecy stuff that either Min has said or Elfin, all the stuff. Anyway,
Yeah, I like these chapters. I think we got the inside to like the Shanshan. We got
Mhm.
Matt learning about Thailand, which we didn't talk really about, but god damn,
oh yeah,
R.I.P. She
We've-
was a
we've-
weirdo.
We've ground that question into the
Yeah.
we
yes.
have,
We've meat
yeah.
grindered
But-
enough on that shit. So.
And then we have Perrin dealing with his thing. So we have, I mean, things are in flux that the pattern may not be necessarily down with, right?
Yeah.
I mean, things are getting weird. Anyways,
Yeah, the fact that
What-
that Perrin can like squash shit down and just prevent something from happening entirely, like with that's kind of blowing my mind. So yeah, it's fun. But then again, if Tavernus is anything like free will, then yeah, they don't have any choices in the whole matter. So free will doesn't exist.
who knows? Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
And is it fated anyways that the good are going to win? Is this Star Wars or is this Star Trek?
I think it might be something like that, but I'm hoping not. This is why we remain dark friends.
Oh.
Break the wheel.
Light blinded
I think
fool.
Echo Sedai said it earlier. She was like, break the wheel. I was like, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a valid response.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we wanted to bring up before we wrap this like a gift, Christmas gift?
Gift horse in the mouth.
We're
Oh.
looking. Oh, go ahead, please.
Perrin snorted brief white plumes in the air.
Nice.
Oh, this is why we do this, Kay. Thank you. How's it going?
Awesome. Saving it up.
Next week, guys, do you want to go ambitious or do you want to go conservative?
Ambitious.
All right. We are doing 6 through 9 because it's funny.
69.
Chapter 9 is
Just making
pretty
sure I
long.
understood.
Yeah, 6 through 9. So chapter 9 is pretty long. So 6 through 8 was 43 pages. I think 6 through 9 is like 70 pages. So let's do it. We did well this week.
Nice. We did.
And yeah, I had this, guys. This is why we did this. This is a great talk. I love this. I mean, we had 3 not productive chapters this is what we do.
This is what we do.
We make good conversation out of short
We make
chapters.
we put lipsticks on pigs sometimes, guys.
Sometimes.
Carrie, Kay, Josh, I love you more than dogs love the scent of other dogs. I'm not sure.
That's a lot. Thank you, Dan.
Good night,
I
everybody.
love you too. Good night.
Oh, your butt's next time I see you. Wag my tail. This has been the Leafcast. We are the Way of the Leaf. I'm sorry Ryan couldn't come here, but he is doing the work of the sage.
Yes.
He probably fell asleep.
No, she's been a nightmare all night, and
Oh.
he has been like having to actively do a ton. So yeah, I'm sorry he couldn't make it, but he's been doing really the best. He's amazing. He's amazing dad though, so thank you.
Awesome. Happy Mother's Day again, Carissa.
Thank you guys.
Carrie, happy Mother's Day.
Mother's Day to all.
I love you all, and I'm proud of you. Go do your best this week. Would you be respectful for everyone and read and fuck off?
I love it.
We'll see you next week, everyone.
See you next week.
Bye.